Good evening.
Oh, yeah, hi, everybody.
I'm here with popular wife Lana, and today we're going to talk about... Or Quinn. I texted you popular wife Lana earlier, and that's why it was stuck in my head.
Popular wife Lana Quinn.
Popular wife Lana Quinn.
Popular life Lana.
Lana Quinn, medicine woman. We're going to talk about a battle that's been going on for a couple years now. It's Dracula versus Frankenstein. I mean, ideally it would make sense to start with the books, but we've both only read Dracula.
Frankula.
We've both only read Friend Dracula, and we both think that Dracula is mostly a book about real estate and
human sexuality.
Filing cabinets. Well, yeah.
I mean, it's a metaphor for sex.
Well, yeah. Apparently, there was some closeted internal homophobia thing that Bram Stoker had going on, but I never read into any of that. And then,
I thought it was about just sex in general. I didn't think it was about any particular type of sex.
Well, I mean, the movie we watched certainly was about a certain type of sex. Frankenstein is sort of about xenophobia.
Not to confuse with xenophobia, which is fear of Xena warrior princess.
So what we did was we watched the two comedy movies that were from the 90s, the two mainline Dracula and Frankenstein movies that were from the 90s. I played a Dracula game and a Frankenstein game that I thought were about on even keel.
I didn't play.
And then I was thinking we could watch the teaser trailers and the regular trailers real quick and decide which were the best, because you love trailers. I love trailers also. So that way we have
Okay, this video is now featuring our cat.
That way we have a there will be a winner, you know? And it won't be me. First thing we watched was the Dracula Dead and Loving It with Leslie Nielsen.
It was a jolly old time.
It was
funny. What?
It was okay, but
I thought it was really funny because it was so dry.
You must get a good night's rest to regain your strength, my dear. It's the only way to improve your health.
Would an enema help?
Yeah.
They really tried to stick to the true plot of Dracula. I feel like all I remembered was the part where he rises up from the coffin and his head hits the chandelier really hard. But I feel like a lot of the stuff they did with the shadows and the hair, they actually really tried to mimic.
What?
The plot was surprisingly accurate. They didn't just go fully off.
The way that movie was made was someone was writing a script for a Dracula film and they kept accidentally coming up with funny parts. So they would chop out the funny parts and put them to the side. I don't know what Dracula film was eventually made, but then all the funny parts had enough for a script, and that became Dracula Dead and Loving It.
I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, it was very Mel Brooksy. I mean, so was the Frankenstein movie.
Well, Young Frankenstein was...
But I think Mel Brooks wrote a lot of Dracula Dead and Loving It, which makes sense. Did he help direct it or something? His name popped up on the screen. I'm sorry, y'all. I am not good at proper nouns. I know his name was on the screen as an important figure in this film. I don't remember the exact role that he played.
Oh, he directed it.
He directed it. There we go. He directed it.
How did I miss that?
I don't know. I guess I just pay attention.
We're experts, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between.
This is it's on cinema here. But it's more on sofa. It's
okay.
I feel like we're a combination between on cinema and big comfy couch.
This is Brooks co-authored the screenplay with the two guys that did the thing where they were chopping out the comedy parts. So there was that, and then also we saw Young Frankenstein, which I hadn't watched since I watched it with an ex-girlfriend in 2009-ish, I think.
Way more sexist than I remembered, actually. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but I feel like there was more misogyny for sure in it than in Dracula.
It has that line I love.
What the hell are you doing in the bathroom day and night? Why don't you get out of there? Give someone else a chance.
Oh my god.
And then there was the weird German cop.
He will curse the day that they was born a Frankenstein.
think out of the two, I like Young Frankenstein better.
I like Dracula better.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like Young Frankenstein I used to like better when I was young, but when I rewatched it, like, maybe it's also because we watched it after the Dracula movie, and it's both are Mel Brooks, and I feel like there's a lot of, like, similar goofy slapstick stuff. I may have just burnt out after, like, 2 hours of Leslie Nielsen doing that. It's totally possible that Gene Wilder came out and I was like, oh my god, this shit again. I mean, that dance number, pretty epic. I will say, none of the dance sequences in Dracula were nearly as good.
Were there any?
No, there were not.
Oh wait, no, there is, isn't there? Dance of the
I forgot about that.
Dance
It wasn't
of
as good.
Dance of the Goddamn Song.
We're experts. This really is Tim Heidecker. That wasn't as good as the Frankenstein song and dance number. Are you sure there wasn't an orgy in Dracula Dead and Loving It? I could have sworn, maybe this is wishful thinking, but I really thought there was an orgy. I thought he comes in and he's like, my daughter's no sex, or whatever. Like, I could have sworn Leslie Nielsen is like, stop having sex with my guest.
There was like almost something, and then they get kicked out of the room, I think.
What is going on here? You think this makes me proud of you? Now go, whilst I make him my slave. And stop that!
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, it wasn't like a real orgy. I mean, last time I was at an orgy, I just had a panic attack in the corner.
So that leads us on to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Coppola likes to put the author's name in the title. They also say that he did that so that like there wasn't any legal issue with using just the word Dracula.
There were a lot of big names in there. Who all was in it again? It was like
Keanu
Reeves. Around the time he stopped aging. And
Anthony Hopkins. Winona Ryder. Yes. Gary Oldman.
Was that exactly
Tom Waits.
Oh, Tom Waits, of course.
Waits. I watched that during like one of the lost weekends of my life. I didn't know until after we watched it that I owned the DVD. It was just in the attic the whole time. I had no idea. Like, it was just like erased.
Yeah, we were like watching it on like Tubi or not Tubi. I don't know what of
I think we tried Pluto at first, and then that wasn't. Anyway.
No, it was a Hamlet joke.
No.
Anyway,
because
Tubi or not Tubi.
Hamlet, Dracula, same author. The thing is, like, I didn't remember like the whole horny like Dracula's Bride's orgy sort of thing. Maybe in my 20s I was just kind of zooted out, and now it's just like sapphic vibes.
I'm zooted out right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a trade-off.
So both of those movies from the 90s, both Dracula and Frankenstein, if you have ADD or ADHD, do not watch those movies. They are so long and so tedious, and it's literally like I just could not focus on them. I'm gonna be honest, it was like 5 minutes of action and then just like so much downtime. Well, Frankenstein had more action, but it also lasted like 5 hours.
Frankenstein. What's funny is watching Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, directed by Kenneth Branagh and starring Kenneth Branagh and Helena Bonham Carter and Tom Hulce and Robert De Niro of Italian fame.
Dracula held my attention a little bit more because Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves are hot. So I feel like on occasion I would drift into like cell phone land, and then I'd be like, oh, there's hot people on the screen, and I would look because attractive people were there, and then there wasn't really anyone hot in Frankenstein, so I just kind of gave up.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, famous for being the movie where Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder became vampires and ceased aging from there on.
I know I haven't said this yet, but Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves, mwah,
also
attractive.
Also, I think because they had real Romanian priests or whatever at the end of that movie, I think technically Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder were married because the priests just did the actual ceremony for real, not like acting.
We accidentally a
So,
wedding.
yeah. So they like text each other to joke about it every couple of years.
I remember the time we got married by mistake.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, I remember
Mary
being like super creeped out and grossed out by it because we watched an 8th rating.
It was
class.
gross. There was a lot of my professional review. It was gross. There's a lot of dead bodies getting dragged around, and he keeps saying raw materials, raw materials, raw materials, to the point where I was like, oh, if this was a book series, it would be called His Raw Materials.
I don't remember him saying raw materials at all.
He kept calling the dead bodies raw materials. That's a joke about the book series, His Dark Materials. It's a young adolescent. Golden Compass was one of them. His Dark Materials.
Golden Compass.
90s kids will remember. The Golden Compass was definitely around your era, but it was like for kids who like to read books.
I prefer nonfiction, thank you.
It is nonfiction. Or, I'm sorry, it's fiction. I'm sorry. No, it's the one... Sorry, I mixed them up in my head. No, it's the one where, like, the kids have, like, different kind of, like, Patronus-esque things. It's, like, an extension of, like, their souls. But it's, like, a little Pokemon-esque animal thing that's, like, tied to them. Hey, I'm sorry, spoiler.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein has Robert De Niro as a slippy boy.
Slippy boy. I did not care for that man.
Yeah, it's pretty funny when he's trying to get him to stand up because it's cut in a way that's a little too comedic. There's a twist. I said it was like a 2-for-1 movie where you get Bride of Frankenstein along with Standard Frankenstein. That part definitely when I was a kid, that weirded me out. Just like the sort of self-awareness she has and the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It felt...
Frankenstein's gross, y'all.
It felt longer when I was a kid, and it seemed... I mean, we did watch it in 2 chunks, but it just... It sort of moved, I think, maybe a little better than Dracula.
Here's my contribution to the conversation. One year, I wore a Lisa Frank outfit and Frankenstein makeup for Halloween. I was Lisa Frankenstein.
Amen.
My finest work yet.
Was that the year I just bought a Circuit City shirt off of eBay and I was a Circuit City employee?
Which is wild because people were like, oh, is that where you work? I thought that place closed.
Well,
I
okay.
like that you're like a retail employee and you cosplayed a different retail employee for Halloween. But no, I was Lisa Frankenstein. That is my contribution to the genre.
So, between Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which one of those two did you like better? I think
Obviously Dracula.
I would also pick Dracula.
Sexier, less gross, less dead bodies, raw materials floating around. I don't really like all of that.
Yeah.
Putting a monster together shit. And then Frankenstein fans are so pretentious. Like, oh, who is the monster? Who is the doctor? It's always like metaphorically, like the galaxy brain answer is that the doctor is the monster because he created Frankenstein, who's kind of like an innocent baby, ultimately. No, I mean, like, the monster's supposed to be, like, harmful because it doesn't know any better. But the scientists knew better than to do this and decided to play God. And the whole thing is like, don't play God.
He's harmful because he has John Cleese's brain in him.
You can't play God, or whatever.
One would think. Frankenstein is the doctor. I, the person correcting you on this name thing, and the monster.
Anyway.
Well, for the next segment, we're going to watch the teasers to both of those movies. And then we'll be back. And then we'll do the trailers for both of those movies. And then we'll be back. And then I'll take care of all the rest of the stuff so you don't have to be bothered with this anymore.
Oh, cool. I have to pee.
Yeah, well, this is yeah. Hi.
Oh, we're filming again. What did you?
Those are the teasers. Apparently, they pulled the Dracula one from theaters because it was too intense.
There's a lot of blood.
But I felt like there was a lot of like the bum bum bum. It sounded like the beginning of Michael Jackson's Bad, and I don't know if that was the right. I like that the slogan to the movie was just "Beware."
Do you know what's happening?
Oh yeah, I'm just trying to act. I'm trying to act cool.
Are you worried?
I'm trying to act cool.
There's a cat.
I like that the slogan of the movie was just "Beware," and then she sees herself.
Oh no!
Beware.
Baby, no. Baby,
And then there was that one last kind of audio jump scare at the end when it said "soon," which I thought was neat. But it talks about like their names are legendary, and they're referring to like Dracula and Coppola, like which is a little ice down your shoulder after jerking yourself off that hard.
Who's Coppola?
Francis Ford Coppola, the director.
Oh, the director.
The Godfather and Apocalypse Now. I don't really like the bloody Dracula logo.
It's kind of gross.
There's one in the that was like
hot take. Dripping blood, kind of gross.
That was
no, it's not gross. Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder.
Oh wow, that was the go-to logo on like almost everything. But the one in the movie is like this really neat, like almost hieroglyphic thing, and they kind of dumbed it down for the Blu-ray cover. But that's the one that's in the movie.
When
anyway.
I was an only child, and had no siblings.
I know where this is going.
I played a game with myself in the bathtub, or standing next to the bathtub, and it was called water drop races. And I would take 2 drops of water and I would race them down to see which one hit the bottom of the tub first. This was good entertainment in Soviet Russia. It was what we called watching television. We only had 4 channels: channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, water drop races, unofficial channel 4. And when the blood is all dripping down, it's like, I'm like, who's gonna win? Which droplet's gonna win this? That's all I can think about.
And then the Frankenstein trailer.
You always like cry when I tell that story. Wendy's like, "Oh, that's so sad," and I'm like, "No, it was a fun
I'm
game."
just like scratching my whole ass on camera.
It's fine. HOLE. Yes.
The Frankenstein teaser. That movie, you said that movie was very dramatic. It is very...
They're both dramatic, obviously.
It's a bit more actorly and a bit more...
Actorly.
You know.
Yeah.
It's weird though, because even though like Dracula's more the love story, I feel like there's more like a sweeping romantic sensibility to the Frankenstein.
They made both of those movies seem so much more exciting and action-packed than they actually are. Because both of those movies have like 10 minutes of action for like 2 hours of like wandering through a castle. There's a lot of wandering through a castle. It's empty and dreary, and you're just wandering through the fucking castle for hours and hours, and then eventually there's a monster.
There's a village in Frankenstein.
The beginning of Frankenstein, I said, looked like what's the one? The song, the musical.
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music. I told Wendy, doesn't it seem like Sound of Music? And then we realized that neither of us had actually seen Sound of Music. So I was like, Wendy, can you confirm that this is what Sound of Music looks like? I've never seen it. And she was like, I can't because I've never seen it.
And it took a hot minute until we figured out the name.
I was like, the Nazi one with the lady and the singing. Like, how many Nazi musicals are there?
Which of those 2 teasers did you like better?
I mean, I think the Frankenstein one was better. I feel like the Dracula one was just leaning really heavily on the blood splatter.
I liked...
It's like, you know the guy, you know the other guy, you know these guys. I mean, come on. What else do you need? Dracula. Like, it was very,
wow.
like, you know what the story is about. Come on. My favorite is, like, that there's all those other movies that are, like, the tree Dracula, like, it's just a word for vampire, and they're like, a whole family of Draculas. Dracula's brother, Dracula 2. Like, they just keep saying, like, how many Draculas can one person handle? Sexcula. Then there's the one that Lady Dracula. Then there's the Blackula, right? And there's the one that the dog. And there's
Dracula's dog.
Dracula's dog. Yes, a bloodhound, I believe.
I think because of the weird abstractness, I think I like the Dracula one a little better.
The trailer?
Teaser.
Or teaser, I'm sorry.
We'll do the trailers next.
Oh, God. Yay!
And then that's pretty much it. Then we can talk about those, and then you're allowed to do whatever you want with the rest of your life. This is going to be the trailers. So those are the trailers.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is, like, I don't think I like the Dracula trailer as much. But I think I would rather have the Frankenstein teaser than the Dracula trailer. Or the Frankenstein trailer.
I thought both of the trailers were about on par, like the full trailers. I thought the Frankenstein teaser was a little bit better. Both the trailers were like the supercut, like the Spark Notes. Once I watched those trailers, I realized we didn't even have to watch the movies. We could have just seen the trailers because it's like beginning, middle, and end, like everything that happens in the movies. Well, it's like old trailers. They're like, what happens when blah blah blah? Well, this happens and this happens and this happens and this happens. Yeah. Like, why even watch the movie at that point?
In this case, I might just pick the Frankenstein trailer though.
Oh, I thought the Dracula. I'm like Team Dracula.
I know. We like the Frankenstein teaser better because there was no blood.
Yeah, but Frankenstein the movie was way grosser.
I think that there was something, I don't know, that this shots in the sky are really pretty.
I wish we could show them. What?
Oh no. She is not happy with this turn of events.
Yeah, no, she doesn't like the bright light. Anyway, turns out cats don't like ring lights unless they're walking directly into it by choice, in which case it's fine. She looks so cute in her little Halloween house.
I like at the end of the Frankenstein one when it just says November 4th, like all spelled out. Something about that was neat. And I really like there's like a synthesizer thing going on at the end of the Dracula trailer, like a boom, 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 and I like that shit a lot.
It was all the action from both the movies, and none of the putzing are about.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, these movies could have been so cool if we just had less putzing. It's like, what is human nature really? And is humankind good or bad? And oh my god, they're so fucking tedious. I'm sorry.
Well, we're gonna cut to Wendy, who's gonna discuss the video game part now.
Baby's in her special taco truck.
Baby's in her special taco truck.
Our cat has a taco truck, El Gato taco truck, and it's meow delicioso.
And she's tearing up the upholstery right now.
Well, that's what it's there for. It is scratchers. The whole thing is made of scratchers.
I first became aware of the 8-bit version of Dracula by messing around with some Master System ROMs, or so I thought. The Master System game plays like a dream. The controls are unbelievably fast and controllable and, not exactly like Simon Belmont jumping and not being able to turn around in midair, those sorts of things. So I was maybe looking into getting it on eBay, but it's awfully pricey seeing as it's another one of those overseas-only releases for the Master System. However, there's a twist. I stopped collecting NES games maybe around 2000 or 2001, although I'll still get the occasional one here and there, and my collection stopped somewhere around 250 games. A lot of things have happened since that time, and a lot of brain cells have been lost, and it turns out I actually had the NES version of Dracula this whole time, so I was able to use this to review this. The controls are still, joyfully fast. It almost makes me think of what 2D Doom would be like. I guess that doesn't really make any sense. You basically run around slashing these question mark blocks, which is kind of funny because that's such a Mario thing and not such a Transylvania thing. And occasionally you'll get weapons, power-ups, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Certain walls you can just walk into to go into secret areas, and other than some of the enemies being cheap, it's a fairly playable game. But the biggest problem with the NES version of Bram Stoker's Dracula is something it can't really control. It's not the Master System version. That would be so much better. As it is, though, it's fun, it's cool. The graphics are pretty nasty, especially compared to the Master System. The music and sound are, I don't know, all over the place. I think all in all, it's almost like a faster, tighter, stripped-down version of Alien 3 for the NES. Does that make sense? I don't know. Okay, confession time. The Dracula vs. Frankenstein thing has always sat around in the back of my head. Originally, it was going to be something where, like, either Lana and I would pick one or the other and try to defend it and actually read the books, and then it occurred to me that we'd both probably pick Dracula. I kept putting off the idea because, well, it seemed like a lot of work. And then one day, I was bored at my day job, and since I don't use social media as much as I used to, I tend to go on eBay to kill the time, and I just randomly placed a bid on the SNES version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and it came with a manual. Not expecting to win it, and I did. So the good news is I got to start this video. The bad news is I was forced to play this game. The graphics are pretty lush, pretty nice. The sound, not so bad, it's just kind of your stock Super NES sampled grunts. And the music, I gotta admit, the song from this stage kinda got stuck in my head, but that's only because I got stuck on the stage. Far too many of the enemies are way cheap, and it feels like your stupid cane can't reach them, even if it's on fire, which is a nice gimmick, but it feels like this game is a series of nice gimmicks strung together poorly, lazily, however. I'm always paranoid that the people that make these games will stumble across a video like this and get really fucking hurt. I don't know. And then there's the dilemma of this situation with the cart and the weird rope loops on the wall, and you're supposed to get these moving platforms into place, but it doesn't become clear in any way at all which connects to which, and it's a really shitty way to open up a game. You know, I was fully prepared to just dive into both of these, giving them the benefit of the doubt and giving an honest answer about which one's better, but frankly, no pun intended, Frankenstein just kept kicking me in the face from the start. What can I say? It just sucks. Much like its starring creature, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein for the Super NES is an ethical nightmare. Dracula wins this round.
So, that gives Dracula the winning point. Goes the Dracula game. It's actually, well, I said the whole thing about how it's 5 points because we're rating 5 things, but then there's 2 of us, so that makes it 10 points. So they're even numbers, but they're still a winner. So the Dracula has 6 points.
Yeah.
And
We suck. We suck. We suck.
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
And Frankenstein has 4 points. And then the split goes, you seem like, I think you did 3 points to Dracula, 1 to Frankenstein, and I did 2 to each prior to the game deciding it.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a true bisexual. I like Frankenstein and Dracula.
I am, well, I'm not a xenophobe, and I mean, if I were still single and I had wound up with Dracula's Brides as Keanu Reeves did, I would just be like, hey, that's fine. I don't need to leave. We're good. I think we're gonna have to wrap this up before my ring light gets devoured, because she is.
Oh, the baby! I think she's up to. What is she doing?
She almost ate my foot.
Oh, she's so cute.
So stay cute, and maybe we'll see you next Halloween. Don't tease her with a lighter.
That's true. I don't want her to
torch the house.
That's true.
That's what she wants.
She does love flames. She's always walking into them.
Okay. So today we're talking about Dracula versus the Frankenstein.
Yeah.
To start off, there's the books, and I remember.
There's a cat.
I remember.
Oh no, baby. Okay, I gotta put this away. She's gonna try to eat it. You wanna try rolling again?
I'll just keep rolling.
I might have to pee. I'm sorry. You've been waiting all day for this. Should I look forward
Oh, she's going after the mayonnaise. I am going to turn this off.